want to thank you for attending and coming to our press conference here to hear about an incredible launch of a volunteer program that we're doing here, not only in Lancaster, but also for the entire Antelope Valley. So it's going to be a historic day where you'll hear from our council member Smith, who's here, who will talk about the council's vision to improve our community through volunteerism. You'll also hear from our partners, AmeriCorps VISTA, who are actually putting together this program for the last 7 or 8 months and are prepared today to launch this program and present it to you. And then lastly, we have a couple of community organizations here who will also talk about their organizations and how this program is going to benefit them as well as other similar community-based organizations in our valley. So let me first introduce to you myself and then the folks. I'm Kelvin Tainatongo, the assistant to the city manager, and been working with the AmeriCorps VISTAs in putting together this program. To your right, we have our 3 AmeriCorps VISTA partners here, with Clyde Villacisneros, Amanda Reyes, and Michelle Barone. Also, we have Gordon Skinner. Gordon is with a couple of organizations. He's with Summerhaven, and he just launched last week the Antelope Valley Disaster Relief Network, and you'll hear about those. And our council member, Ron Smith, and you'll hear from him. And then also the president of the YMCA, and we want to thank them for allowing us to use their facility here for this press conference, Josh Mann. So with those introductions, let me also now bring up council member Ron Smith.
Okay, picture this. You've spent a whole year getting your volunteers together, getting a board like Josh sits on many boards, and you've worked really hard to put on this big fundraiser. Spent a lot of time, and anybody who's put on any organizational fundraisers or events, know it's a lot of work. So it's usually a handful of people doing all the work. And so you spend all that time, and you're going to sell the tickets and everything, and you pay for the printing, and you get everything set, and then you start selling the tickets, and you find out that a bigger organization than you is having an event on the same night. And it's too late. You've already rented the place, already got the caterer paid, you got things going, and you don't have very many people show up. And so for the longest time, this has been a problem in the Antelope Valley. We have so many people out there that do fundraising and so many people that put on events, nonprofits, that they sort of cross over. So, and it's also an idea of getting volunteers. So this new system that VISTA has put on of OneLINC allows the nonprofits and these organizations to go online and have like a community calendar type of thing, and also recruit volunteers. Now, the libertarian in me always says that there's a lot of things that should be done in our society, but that doesn't mean government does it all. We have to provide and facilitate so that the people can get it done. And that's what I believe, make it an atmosphere. And luckily in Lancaster and the Antelope Valley, we have so many people that volunteer for things, and there's so many organizations that we feed the hungry, we shelter the poor, we raise money for a lot of different things. This will help those people and provide an avenue for the vision that the City Council in Lancaster has for this valley and for this community, is that to bring all the people together, our community homes, all our volunteerism. When we put on the Martin Luther King Day of service, we bring people in to get things done. And so my hat's off to VISTA volunteers and the city and everybody else that's putting this together, and it's going to be a great website for everybody, all the nonprofits to get onto.
Thank you, council member. And one of the things that the council actually did is they've been able to give us the tools to actually create this. And by that, I'm saying that they actually approved the contract, the agreement that allowed us as a city to partner with AmeriCorps VISTA. So if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be sitting here today being able to launch this. So we thank you for that, to giving us the tools. The one thing that's great about the AmeriCorps VISTA program is it's actually free labor, and we always like free. So whenever you can get that, and I encourage a lot of the nonprofits out there or organizations to get involved with AmeriCorps VISTA, because they can definitely help you continue with your mission out there. One of the things that we certainly have enjoyed about AmeriCorps VISTA is that they're bright young minds with a passion to do what they've come to. Some of their things like health or volunteerism. They list out the different things that they're interested in, and they want to volunteer their time before they move on with their career. So it's actually a perfect match for what we're doing here today. And so what I want to do now is give them the opportunity to come up here and unveil and launch their volunteer program called OneLINC. And you'll actually see a little bit of a demonstration, and they'll talk about the features. So let me start off with Michelle Barone, our first speaker from the AmeriCorps VISTA.
Good morning, everyone. The City of Lancaster partnered with AmeriCorps to bring 3 VISTAs, Volunteers in Service to America, to develop a community-wide volunteer program. My fellow VISTAs, Amanda Reyes and Clyde Villasisneros, and I drove in from various regions of California to dedicate 1 year of our lives devoted to community service. I recall the day I arrived at the VISTA house. I was amused to see so many Joshua trees and anxiously waited for the arrival of my fellow VISTAs. Not knowing who I was about to spend a year with, as well as knowing that we were going to create a volunteer program together, was super exciting. I was ready for an adventure. An adventure it definitely has been. During the first months, we created a community needs survey to assist us with our research and outreach to better understand the organizations and services currently provided, as well as the needs of the Antelope Valley. We have also created a directory including over 1,000 community service, faith-based, and nonprofit organizations, as well as all organizations that have a need for or utilize volunteers from the Antelope Valley. The OneLINC directory of organizations will be available to the community as a resource within the next couple of months. I am here to announce the new community-wide volunteer program, OneLINC. One represents the positive impact one individual can make in the community in which they can lead, inspire, and connect individuals and organizations through volunteerism. The mission of OneLINC is to advocate leadership, spark inspiration, and connect the community through volunteerism. The vision of OneLINC is to be a united community proud to volunteer. OneLINC is committed to assisting community service organizations throughout the Antelope Valley in order to recruit, train, and retain volunteers more efficiently. As the first component of the OneLINC program, and many more to come, I am very proud to announce a vital resource to the Antelope Valley community service organizations, OneLINC.org. Here to demonstrate the components of the website and to explain how it can benefit your organization, I would like to welcome Mr. Clyde Villasisneros to the podium.
Thank you, Michelle. And with that said, let me introduce to you our website, OneLINC.org. OneLINC is created especially for the Antelope Valley. One, for individuals looking to volunteer and connecting with community organizations. And 2, for local organizations to promote service opportunities, recruit volunteers, and manage volunteers. Now, for individuals, the OneLINC website makes it easy to sign up and search for volunteer opportunities. And one way you could do that is through the volunteer search box. So if I type in, let's say, feed the homeless, that should give me a list of opportunities for you to sign up for. Another way to do that is through the event calendar. And in the event calendar, you will see all the different opportunities in a calendar view. Pretty simple, right? So now for organizations, this website makes it easy to manage information in one place. The real value of this website is for all you organizations that heavily rely on volunteers. And I remember as a leader of a community service club in high school, the challenges of promoting service opportunities, recruiting and managing volunteers, handling paperwork with tracking volunteer hours, keeping track of the member profiles, making individual phone calls, and finding ways to collaborate with other organizations. So I'm sure all of you can relate to these experiences, and this is why OneLINC is useful. It is an effective and a useful tool for your organization because you can find all these information in one place. So I would have definitely used this website if it was existing at the time in high school. These features are all found in a tab called Organizations, and this is where you can recruit, manage, and communicate with your volunteers, as well as collaborate with other organizations. We've listed additional features in the handout provided in the packet. So in addition, we also created training manuals, training videos, and a directory of community service organizations, all tailored to your organization's needs. But for now, you can subscribe to our mailing list and we'll stay in touch. We'd also like to thank AV Web Designs for donating their services and helping us create the OneLINC website. But for now, now that we've shown you some of the features of the website, let me introduce to you Amanda, and she will go over the next steps with you.
So I relocated from San Diego in order to partner with my fellow Vistas and the city of Lancaster and create this valley-wide volunteer program. The launch of the OneLINC program and its website directly reflects the purpose of AmeriCorps VISTAs, which is to create and expand programs that ultimately bring underserved individuals and communities out of poverty. Although I moved from San Diego to Lancaster in order to serve as a VISTA, I've actually moved around quite a bit, being that my father was in the Air Force. Growing up, I remember my father being stationed overseas and my mother, older sister, and I living here in the States and really struggling financially. Although my parents worked very hard to provide for my sister and I, there was definitely a need in my family for support from community service organizations that provided us everything from food to clothing. If it weren't for organizations similar to, say, the Grace Resource Center or even the YMCA, my family would not have had the support that we needed in order to eventually get on our feet. During this time of need and after, my family and I would often volunteer together, and that's when we really learned the value of being a volunteer. We learned that community service organizations rely on the commitment of their volunteers. As well, volunteering being about selflessness and sacrifice, but the best kind of sacrifice because the return is immediate. The sense of pride I feel when helping someone who needs it is amazing, and it's my and my family's way of showing our appreciation to all of the organizations and their volunteers who helped us when we needed it. So from one volunteer to another, first, thank you. And second, we hope that you'll help us make the OneLINC program and website the hub of volunteerism in your community. So if you're an organization that would like to recruit more volunteers, as well as take advantage of all of the resources Clyde spoke about, we want you to first take part in our community survey. As Michelle said, we're relying on this survey in order to tell us about your volunteer needs, as well as connect you with other organizations who are providing similar services, thus creating a network ensuring that everyone in the AV can benefit from your great services. These surveys will also help us to determine additional programs and resources to bring under the OneLINC umbrella in order to share throughout the Antelope Valley. So please email us at info@onelink.org, and Michelle, Clyde, and I would be happy to help you get started. For those who wish to volunteer, come to the website, check out all of the opportunities available, create a profile, and reach out to those organizations that need you. Whether you're paying it forward or simply investing in your hometown, by volunteering, you really are ensuring that the Antelope Valley remains a united community and proud to volunteer. We AmeriCorps VISTAs would like to thank the City of Lancaster for their support during these past months. We've truly enjoyed partnering with city officials who share in our passion for community service and eradicating poverty. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda, Clyde, and Michelle. So that was the unveiling of OneLINC program and also their website, onelink.org. It's something unique, new to the Valley, and we definitely believe it's going to be something that will be of value for all of our organizations providing services, for volunteers looking to do things to help out their community. So it's a one-stop shop that people can go to, and we definitely hope that people will use this resource and we are able to work better together. Speaking of which, I do want to recognize that the AmeriCorps VISTAs have been talking and speaking with a number of community-based organizations to help put together and develop this program as well as the website. I just wanted to recognize a couple of them, like Antelope Valley Partners for Health, Grace Resources. They've talked with Lancaster Baptist and also United Way and the other folks that you're just going to hear about right now. So they were instrumental in helping them put this together. Our next speaker, I'm going to be bringing up Gordon Skinner. Gordon is associated with Summer Haven, who distributes food across the Antelope Valley, serving 15,000 people in a week. So if you can imagine the number of volunteers that they use to do that. Gordon also happens to be part of a board with the Antelope Valley Disaster Relief Network, which was just unveiled last week. And that's a collaboration of over 30 churches that are also dependent on volunteers to provide emergency services in the event of a disaster. And so I'd like to invite Gordon up here and talk a little bit about how what they do and how this new program is going to help them in their efforts.
Thank you to the AmeriCorps VISTA youth that have stepped up and given of a year of their lives, which I'm sure will leave its mark on the valley, but will definitely leave its mark in their lives as well. I know from 28 years experience of being full-time as a volunteer. Coordinating volunteers, I don't ask or receive a salary for what I do because I'm not independently wealthy, but I'm independently sustained. I have a good boss. But we have worked together with thousands and thousands of volunteers from this valley. The Antelope Valley is an incredible area because we have a real mix of people, but the youth are eager and yet need experience. Often we've been used to offer experience to youth, whether it's building a fence, caring for a homeless person, forming a new IT, something that we're doing in the office, paperwork, shuffling, and all of those different things. Volunteers are the ones who have done the work at Summer Haven. 60-year anniversary coming up this year. I've been 28 years involved. Yes, we, over the last 16 years, have moved 32 million pounds of food into the valley, fed an average of 15,000 people per week. This is an incredible effort. It takes hundreds of people per week in order to accomplish that. We work together with approximately, on a weekly basis, 50 of your local charities. We outreach into so many, for example, your after-school children's programs. You won't hear the name Summer Haven. You'll just see the goods arrive and people who are connected. We don't really mind if you don't know us, because that's a community working together. It doesn't have to be a big name. And that's one thing I really appreciate about OneLINC, is it seems to just be a meeting place for the community. Not governed by, although it's good to have an admin to keep us in control and keep things working smoothly. So I just see it as a meeting place on the web with calendars and being able to coordinate. Do you know how difficult it is? I don't know if you've ever tried to pick a date, even 6 months in advance, for an event. How many have tried to do that? Let me see. Come on, fess up. It is not an easy thing to do. And just as sure as you pick that day, it's the March of Dimes Day or something. You know what I'm saying? Right? And you don't want to step on anybody else's fundraiser day. But there's only so many days during a year. So thank you for the ideas of bringing that out with the calendar and with the volunteers. There are some types of volunteers that we have not. It's not always easy to find somebody that can specifically do one thing that you need done, and consistently. And we found that to be a challenge, and I'm looking with great anticipation to seeing how this might fill that niche, where there's real specialty volunteers who are needed, maybe not for months at a time, just for a few periods of time, where if we can connect correctly, it'd be excellent. Now, regarding the Disaster Relief Network, our purpose is to connect through the Christian churches of the Antelope Valley, which there are nearly 300, to gather and pool volunteers that can be trained, background checked, can be equipped, and can be mobilized and can respond through their local church bodies. That's a very unique form of volunteerism. It's kind of selective. But we saw the need in the valley for that emphasis. And we feel like the purpose of it is at time of disaster that there will be a cadre or a pool of volunteers who are ready, who are recognized, all wearing the same T-shirts, all having a badge that shows their certifications, all having a background check, to let liability kind of relax a little bit. and so that there's a comfortability in time of crisis. The secret of this whole thing is there are crises every day all around us. And once we're trained, we begin to recognize it, and we begin to exercise our training ability in that. So there's the plug I was asked to give for the Disaster Relief Network. And volunteers can plug into that. There are many things that can be done by the community at large to assist, because we are working together with all your major disaster relief organizations, cities, counties, state. Even the White House was represented at our press conference. So again, I just want to put my plug in. I think that every organization, the way that this will work effectively, let me say it this way, is if every nonprofit in the Antelope Valley would sign up and would extensively use this service. I am personally going to be encouraging all 80 or so of our organizations who are distributors of Summer Haven to use this service and to gather volunteers from it. Thank you.
Now, I also want to invite our host today from the YMCA, Josh Mann. We know that the YMCA in this facility is one of our better partners, or one of our partners here at the city, providing services to our family members here. And certainly they couldn't do what they do well without the volunteer pool that they have. So Josh, I'd like to invite you up here.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. It's very fitting that we're making this announcement in this very space today. This is the Antelope Valley Family YMCA's Legacy Room, which is dedicated to the 60 years of volunteers and supporters that have made the Antelope Valley Family YMCA such a thriving part of the community. And in that time, we've gone from the backyard of one of our early volunteers into a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art health and wellness facility. But at the very core of the programs that we hold each and every day are our volunteers. We couldn't possibly do our after-school programming and our camp programming and our special activities without the aid of people in our community who believe in what the YMCA stands for. And so I can tell you that on behalf of our Board of Managers and staff here, we are very much looking forward to seeing this program grow and become as vital as the Antelope Valley Family YMCA has become. So thank you all for being here. I certainly appreciate it.
Okay, as we're ready to wrap up, just one other announcement here. On the table there, we have a couple of materials really driving folks to the OneLINC website, also our contact information and how to get a hold of our VISTAs that can help people get through the website as far as putting your profile up there. There's also a Connect card here where we're asking folks to get involved, whether you're an individual, more specifically if you're an organization, that we can get your profile up there onto the OneLINC website. If you can take this and fill it out today or bring it in, send it to us, our AmeriCorps VISTAs will in fact get a hold of you and walk you through how to get your profile up on our website. Again, I want to thank you folks here, and I'll ask our council member Ron Smith to say some closing remarks.
So let's think of this now. This is the city of Lancaster launching this, but like a number of things that we do, our film bureau brings in jobs and film for the whole valley. Our visitor bureau is trying to bring people here to the valley, because if this valley is successful, the city of Lancaster will be successful. This website, it could be somebody in the county area, it could be a volunteerism down in Palmdale, it could be any place. It's for the whole valley. And so anybody, it's just not to bring volunteers for the city of Lancaster, it's to bring volunteers and nonprofits and faith-based organizations for this whole entire valley. And all of us, if you go through Boy Scouts like I did with my son, he's an Eagle Scout, or Girl Scouts with my daughter, every component of those organizations is to give back to the community, give back some community service. It's all part of them getting their badges and everything, right? So just think, our population here in Lancaster is about 157,000. If every single person averaged, if we averaged per person, 7 hours of volunteer per year, that'd be 1 million man hours. Just think if we did it for the whole valley, that'd be about 3.5 to 4 million man hours. Now, there's a lot of people, there's only a handful of people that put in like 1,000,000 hours by themselves. But, and anybody who's been part of a nonprofit realizes that, right, Gordon?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I encourage everybody to sign up. And if you have any questions from anybody up here, anybody have any questions? Okay, if not, you can talk to us afterwards. Thanks.